Good afternoon. We have Ryan Cockerill with us today with Booking It LLC. Ryan, welcome to Network in Action.
Thanks for having me, Jessica. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're super excited. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm a former Big Four employee, which I used to work at a firm called Ernst& Young. They're an international accounting firm, and I worked in their public audit section. So prior to me going out on my own, I used to audit some of the name brand kind of Fortune 500 companies, and my main client was a firm called Autodesk. Not a construction company, but a lot of, for example, architects use that kind of software. So it's like accountants use Excel, that's kind of the name brand software. For architects, it would be AutoCAD, which is Autodesk software.
Got it. Okay. And your company name is Booking It. Tell us a little bit about how you came up with that name.
Yeah, so that one has an interesting story behind it. So back when I started the firm in 2017, I was, wasn't a CPA at the time or anything. This was like I'm just, basically a kid in college, and it's like, okay, let's offer bookkeeping services. So it's like bookkeeping, kind of similar. In addition to in accounting, the phrase, booking is like kind of associated with, doing journal entries and that kind of stuff. It's like, oh yeah, I just booked that entry, or it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go booking, or I'm gonna be booking in a minute here. So it's like that's kind of, it's a common phrase of terminology. In addition to, when you think of booking it, you think of, fast pace, like, oh, like a sprint. So it's like,
Yeah.
I thought, oh, it's like, kind of timely, and whatnot, and like a sense of priority in my mind.
Yeah. I think that's really clever and fun.
Yeah. Because like, as I like to say, when the IRS comes knocking on your door, you better be booking it.
Yeah, you better be. So tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start this journey on your own.
For me, it was just the freedom of it. Just, I mean, I worked, in kind of corporate world for probably solid 3 or 4 years, between various jobs and doing accounting and whatnot. And it's just, it gets kind of grindy. Like you put all this effort into it, and for the compensation you get for it, you don't really see the full benefit. And there's also just the excitement, the thrill of going out on your own and just like taking a risk.
Yeah,
So,
I do
and I'm
know.
young enough to where it's like I can afford to do that better now than later when you got
Yeah,
a
yes,
wife,
very
kids, that kind of
true.
thing.
So I know you probably have a lot of very happy customers over the years, but tell us a favorite customer service story or something that you're really proud of.
Yeah. So my favorite one here is it's a construction company called Lakewood Construction, and I'm actually in their office right now. As you can
Oh,
probably see, this is their shop back here, and I'm in the office side of things over here. And this is my favorite story, because this client wasn't a firm when they first came to me. So it was like back in 2019. It was the owner came to me, and he was just a part-time, like he was working at a larger luxury home builder as a carpenter. And he comes to me because he just heard that I was doing bookkeeping services, like, hey, I want to start my own business. And it's like, at that time I didn't specialize in any industry per se. I was like, still kind of exploring whatnot. But I've been working with construction with my previous employers enough to know it's like, okay, I got the ropes of construction and whatnot. I know kind of what to expect, how to do things right and whatnot. Had some great mentors back in the firms I worked with to kind of teach me those ropes. And so for this client, he had nothing, no business experience, nothing. He was, at the time he wanted to start this, he was 21. So it's like, it's a bold move for him to want to try and start a business that young, especially building a home. It's like, there's a huge amount of trust that goes into that. But we, got him started part-time, and he started just doing the kind of handyman jobs, maybe like replacing some trim on the side of the house, just small stuff. And if he was lucky, he could have built a deck at that time. And so it's just, very small gig kind of jobs. And over the course of 3 years, he was able, he himself, was able to market himself to these larger clients and whatnot. And where the challenges came from him is the growing pains, you know? So it's like, as you get bigger, you definitely got more liability, more documentation you have to have and whatnot. So throughout these 3 years, it's like, while he was able to grow, we were also able to have capacity for that growth, I guess I would put it as. Because now he didn't have to ever worry about, running payroll, filing his taxes, because I already took all, everything that was all taken care of by me.
Yeah.
And so 3 years later, he's working now in a somewhat, popular exclusive community up here in Coeur d'Alene. And it's like, the whole luxury golf course sort of thing, and they're selling homes for multi-millions of dollars. So for a 3 year time period,
Yeah.
crazy jump in it. And we know, at least bureaucratically, we never had to worry about anything.
I love
So
that. And one of the
now he's
most
got his own
beautiful
shop.
parts of the country to boot. So it's
Yeah.
worth mentioning here that you initially started out as a bookkeeping services. You've since become a CPA, and you really assist your clients with the whole tax planning process as well. You're kind of an all-in-one guy, which kind of gets us to the next question, which is what makes you special or different? And I think part of that is your niche, the construction contracting thing. But I want you to speak more into why that's important and the relevance of that.
Yeah, for sure. So for construction, you're correct. Serving construction specifically is why I consider myself unique. And why that's important is because just through experience of dealing with these firms that I work for and whatnot, construction is often the kind of clients that, the CPA in the firm is like, they're never excited to answer the phone, right? Generally, the subcontractor, the general contractor, they got a lot of volume of transactions, they got change orders, and it's just overall pretty messy, and they don't have a process, for construction, because construction is, in its own way, it's kind of unique breed of accounting. There are certain accounting principles specifically for construction and project related industries, and it's just so time consuming for your general CPA. It's like they're not going to be able to realistically provide truly like GAAP compliant financials and whatnot. And while GAAP is it's its own thing, that's largely what the public companies follow, we at least take the same principles and map out truly what revenue and expenses are to better reflect it. And the biggest thing that I'd say comes to mind there is the percentage of completion, recognizing revenue. And not doing this properly causes what I call fool's gold, which is basically when construction firms, because I see it all the time, is they collect all this money in deposits and whatnot, and they see their bank account balance. It's like, oh, I'm so wealthy. And it's like they know they got to pay some bills and whatnot, and they got, if they have employees, they got payroll liabilities with that, like workman's comp. But I just see at the end of the day, it's like they spend that money, and then time comes when the job's close to a finish, they've collected everything, now they're short cash, they got to bring that cash back in, and hence fool's gold. I mean, so that's like one of the big things there, amongst other things as well. But
yeah, just in getting to know you, I even know quite a bit about that industry, and it's just been shocking to me where it's like, God, I hadn't really considered how having a CPA who specifically specializes in the construction and contracting world. I've heard you talk about, protecting the profit. And that's so true, because it's just a different breed.
yeah.
So if somebody else out there wants to get in touch with you, reach you, talk with you, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you, Ryan?
Yeah, best way, we can set up an appointment if you email me at ryan@bookingitllc.com. Surefire way to get my attention right there.
Okay, good. Well, we're super excited to have you part of Network in Action. I'm really excited to introduce you to people who work in this industry. I think you're going to make a huge impact on their financial situation and growth. So welcome, and we're excited to have you.
Yeah, awesome. I'm glad to be here. Thanks, Jessica.